Facebook, they're in a big PR crisis. A lot of the users are angry and upset after revelations of that recent data scandal. CEO Mark Zuckerberg, well, he's getting ready for a grilling. He's going to appear before a joint Senate panel and a House hearing next week. That's going to happen on Tuesday and Wednesday. Meanwhile, the social media platform says it is making major upgrades to ensure the safety of our user information. Here's what Chief Operating Officer Sheryl Sandberg told our Dana Perino yesterday.
Mark's happy to go to Congress because Mark wants to answer every question people have about the service we offer. We really believe in social experiences, and I think what happened here is we were very focused on creating that. Good things happen when you can share your information, right? You can find your friends' birthdays, you can share events with them, and we were really focused on that, and we weren't focused enough on being proactive enough. And Mark is happy to say, here's what we weren't doing, and here's what we're doing now.
So is Mark Zuckerberg really happy to do that? Ian Wishingrad joins us, founder of Big Eyed Wish, also an expert in digital branding. Good to see you.
Good.
So do you think this appearance, two of them, actually by Zuckerberg, will kind of quell the controversy?
Absolutely not. He's done before where you act first and beg for forgiveness later, and that's kind of a very standard procedure in Silicon Valley. We see that with Uber and other companies. They push the limits and now they're getting scolded. I think now that it affected the stock price around $100 billion, now you're going to start seeing changes happen. But I don't think one testimony is going to change the situation.
Are they arrogant?
No, it's not arrogant.
What is it? Yeah.
I think they're computer guys, and computer guys are a little sterile, and they think about themselves as a platform, and I don't think they appreciate how big and powerful their company is, and that in 15 years you become one of the biggest companies in the world that totally changes the way people communicate. There are ramifications, as they say with Spider-Man, with great power comes great responsibility, and I think he's feeling that now.
I mean, first they said, 50 million people were potentially hacked by Cambridge Analytica. Now it's up to 87 million. Do you think the steps that they've taken so far will protect our privacy? Do you think they're sufficient, or are we going to have to pay for it? And still, once you sign on the dotted line, no one reads that anyway.
Correct.
We don't know what we're giving up.
Yes, I think the idea that you have any control over your privacy, they'll try to make things more transparent. They'll do all the right moves in the press sense, but there is an understood exchange here. You get Facebook for free, and they get to make money off of you. And the reason they make so much money off of you is they have such great data that advertisers can target you. I think the reason this situation was so different is because it got political, and it went to a democracy in elections.
But still, the information is getting out there. I mean, they say they don't give it to the advertisers, but then they use it themselves. I mean, people are worried about this.
Absolutely. And I think there's a lot of people that, why they say delete Facebook and get off it. I think there's a certain generation like mine that just understands privacy is like a thing of the past. And whatever I'm doing there, I presume you're going to use it to me, against me, for me in some fashion.
Yeah, a lot of people, you think it's like a public utility. I mean, it's like the electric light bulb, but, it's out there and you can't do anything about it sometimes.
Yeah, and then we just saw what happened. This is going to be the big course correction here, and I think the reason a lot of tech people, and you'll see a lot of op-eds, they say we need to regulate ourselves, is because everyone's afraid of what happens when the government starts to dig in and figure it out and starts to slap on real regulations.
What should Zuckerberg tell the senators and the congressmen when he appears?
He should do, he's on the apology tour right now, so he should do a heartfelt apology, and he should give the exact plan of what he's going to do to be as transparent as possible about what they're doing with people's information.
And do we have an indication what that could be?
An indication
of how transparent, what they are specifically going to be doing.
Yes, well, usually they bury the terms of service and put the privacy settings in a hard-to-reach place. They're going to elevate them now and say there's going to be more of a dashboard so you could have a better understanding of who has what. They've also shut down a lot of other companies that were able to use their APIs and get in there. So there's, just like when they said the auto industry went down and a lot of other businesses can go or can be affected by that, I know a lot of people's businesses that have folded up shop because their entire business was based on taking that data information, putting out content, and they've turned those knobs off.
Yeah, they're not getting those algorithms now.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, there's something called the Honest Ads Act, and they say they support this, so they know exactly who's paying for the ads. Do you think that they will actually sufficiently do that to prevent the Russians from putting those ads up again, or anybody doing something false?
I'm not sure. I think the reason is there's no algorithm that's going to solve this. I think Mark said he's going to hire 10 to 15,000 human people to go in and look at it. I think there's no way around it. You need actual people going through it and checking the information. Not everything's going to be done with just a computer.
And also, in terms of the falsehoods, Sheryl Sandberg told Dana Perino that they're going to go after that too. Let's listen to what she said.
We did not pay enough attention to that, and now we are getting ahead of the problem. We're working really hard on false news. People want accurate information on Facebook, and we want them to have accurate information. So what we're doing is we're working with third-party fact checkers, everyone from the AP to the Weekly Standard. We have people in all 50 states now ahead of the election. If something is marked false, we warn people who are about to share it. We go back and warn the people who did share it. We dramatically decrease its distribution, and we mark related articles.
Well, they maybe should have been doing that before. Do you think this will be enough, these steps are enough to alert people about what they're reading?
I think it will improve the situation, but there's always hackers and people that are a step ahead. And if you heard Mark, he spoke on some podcasts that they already can see in their privacy chambers that there are people trying to figure out the next step. So they need to just make sure they're ahead of it and not try to take care of it in the dark. They need to be very open about it, which is very antithetical to their company.
Yeah. And finally, what about Zuckerberg himself? I mean, he's not, warm and fuzzy. I mean, you have some other billionaires, Bill Gates and Richard Branson is well known. I mean, Zuckerberg is seen as this like kind of humorless automatron, whether that's fair or not. Can he change that image when he appears?
So this is going to be the ultimate challenge, the change for him. Facebook is not loved. Facebook's just something we need. Whereas the Apples, the Teslas, Amazons, people have love for these brands, and they will forgive them. Like when Apple just admitted they slow your phones down, that's a huge deal. But we kind of like, okay, Apple. But with Facebook, we're going to have to find a way. He's going to have to find a way to create love for his brand, and that's going to be the toughest thing for him because it's not who he is.
All right, it's got a high hurdle, I think. Sounds like what you're saying when he appears on Capitol Hill. Ian, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Arthel?